Welcome back to Tax Talk with Hey Hey, where we offer simplified tax planning and mentorship to help 6 and 7-figure CEOs ditch the daily hustle by achieving financial independence from your business by increasing your purchasing power and diversifying your source of passive income. Through financial mentorship, realistic goal setting, and simplified tax planning, without having to hustle for the rest of your life, with the guarantee of the optimal roadmap to move you towards your desired time freedom. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tax Talk with Hey Hey. I am your host, Suhey Piedra with Prominence Business. We're located in Glendora, California. On today's podcast, we will be talking about the dreaded form that seems to be online and people have been talking about called the Beneficial Ownership Information Reporting. So for all corporate business owners, there's a new law that's coming into effect January 1st of 2024. But let's clear it up a little bit. This is a big announcement, so please, I urge you that if you have a corporation, an LLC, some sort of an entity, that you please listen up. This is very important because the fines are really high. So we will go over all the details and we'll try to break it up as much as possible. I have Brisa here today because, as you know, I always delegate everything to Brisa. And so Brisa is going to help us make sure that all our clients are taken care of. But this podcast is to help clarify a couple of things, maybe point you to the right resources. This is a legal matter, so a lot of the times we want to consult our attorneys. Maybe we want to just do a little bit more in-depth research on our own because every situation is a little bit different. But regardless, we want to help and guide you to find those resources or to maybe just help, answer some of those questions. Now, I will tell you that the website for fincin.org, which is where you will find the requirement for this, has tons of frequently asked questions, and they're in very plain English. I've already done some research myself, looked at them myself. So if you do have any doubts, that's one of the first places I would look. But also, in one of our previous podcasts, we had Daniel Lopez from Empire. What is the name of his business? I'm sorry, his law firm?
Empire Business Law.
Empire Business Law. And Daniel is also a really good resource. Daniel has sent us a blog and he sent us emails kind of letting us know a little bit more about the form as well. Yeah. So I would definitely reach out to him.
Or just get on his subscription base. That way you get the same notices that we're getting.
Correct. So again, we want to just kind of help you navigate this. Just know that everything is really recent and our job is to notify our clients, right? Because we have so many business owners, but know that this is a legal matter. And I want to emphasize that because you don't want to make a mistake on this form for your protection. So you want to make sure you consult an attorney if those are the issues that you're having, right? So let's just get started. This comes effective January 1st, 2024. Right.
So I do know that if you currently have an entity, you have 1 year you have 1 year to file it. So your due date would be December 31st, 2024, if you currently have an entity.
Any existing entity that becomes active, let's say December 31st or this year, 2023, they're giving you 1 whole year to become compliant, meaning you have all of 2024 to get your ducks in a row to get this form filled out. What this form is looking for is ownership. They want to know who are the owners of that entity. Most of us, the majority of us, don't really care, but there's some of us that have asset protection entities, and so we want to remain anonymous, and so those things come into play. I'm not the attorney. You want to consult your attorney to make sure that you're following all of the rules that you need to protect yourself, but yet be compliant with what the government is looking for. Now, the penalties. The penalties are pretty sharp, okay? But before I go into the penalties, if your corporation if you incorporate in the year of 2024, so let's say we've talked and you're like, oh, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to start it in January. Now you have 30 days to file that form. They're not giving you 1 whole year. They're saying the form became effective January 1st of 2024. So if you have a new corporation that, let's say, starts January 1st of 2024, they're giving you 30 days to file this form.
Yeah, which kind of goes into play with the statement of information. They also give you that 30 days.
So for those California entities that you may be familiar, California requires that we file a statement of information form on an annual basis.
Yeah.
If you're one of our clients, we try to send you those emails reminding you, hey, it's your anniversary. Your statement of information form is coming due. Do you need us to help you fill it out? Do you need assistance with it? But it needs to be filed because California will hit you with a $250 penalty for not filing on time.
Mm-hmm.
Then it turns into $800,
Yeah.
and then they suspend your corporation.
And it's difficult to get it out of there.
So a lot of times people call us and they'll be like, I'm trying to open a bank account. I'm trying to get a loan. I'm trying to do something. And they can't because the corporation is suspended. And when we look at why is the corporation suspended, it's suspended because they didn't file the statement of information form. So now we got to go and clean all that stuff up. It's not cheap. It's very time consuming. So we don't want that to happen. So that's why we kind of help remind our clients that on an annual basis, you have to file that statement of information form. Now that's California's requirement. This is a federal requirement. FinCEN is the agency that protects us from, abusive money laundering and schemes like that. So now they're trying to find all those shell corporations out there. They're trying to find individuals that are doing bad things, right? But because of that, they want all of us to disclose who are the owners of these entities.
Yep.
Do you have any information on what those penalties are if you don't file on time?
So it says here, the willful failure to report or update this report to FinCEN or the attempt to provide false and fraudulent information will result in a civil or criminal penalties up to $500 for each day that the violation continues, or criminal penalties that include up to 2 years and a fine of $10,000. So it sounds like it's, pretty heavy.
They're trying to really enforce individuals to disclose. So disclose,
Yeah.
right? And so the reason that they're making these penalties so high is because they're trying to gather that information from all of us. So again, if you have an entity that is already active, you have 1 year to file this form and stay compliant. So please don't freak out and be like, oh my gosh, I haven't filed it. If you have an entity that exists prior to December 31st of 2023, you have until December 31st of 2024 to file this form and be compliant. If you have concerns about disclosing information, this is where you contact that attorney. You contact Daniel if you don't have an attorney. Daniel Lopez can, set up a consultation with you and go over this information with you. Now, if you don't care and you're like, it doesn't matter, my information is public, then you can go onto the website and fill out the form. It's like I said, it's not very difficult to fill out. But if you need, and if you have any questions, you can reach out to us, or we'll have resources, for you to contact.
Yeah, I have a
Daniel.
list here that it asks what information is required. So first, it's the owner. So who's considered an owner? And then the other kind of details that it says it's, the date of birth, address, ID, just your basic information of the owner that I think you kind of already have when you do set up that entity anyhow. So.
Right. When we set up the entity, right, we have to disclose like the who's forming the entity and all that stuff, but it doesn't specifically say who and what shares belong to who. Okay. When I do the tax return, I do ask because I have to send them a K-1 and all that good stuff, right? But it's not like public unless they get a hold of your tax return in a sense. But now this information, it's supposed to be still private. It's only for the federal FinCEN department. But again, I wouldn't know exactly what this information is going to be, available to. So again, this is when we reference back to let's consult an attorney about it. Okay, if those are your concerns. But the information they're looking for is who are the owners, names, social securities, addresses of these owners is the main goal of this disclosure form. My concern is that if you haven't heard about this and you set up an entity starting 2024 and you miss the deadline, that these penalties are huge. $500 a day can add up really quick if you figure this out a little too late. So take it very serious. And if you have any questions, like I said, we will put maybe we can link Daniel's information on our website so that you guys can sign up for his emails and you can get this access to this blog where he's giving this information. And again, I will repeat, on the FinCEN website, there's a frequently asked questions section. It has a lot of really good information on there that may be able to answer your question, and it's really plain English, so it's not very like legal mumbo jumbo stuff. It's very easy to follow and understand. They'll explain to you the purpose of the form, what are they going after, and what needs to be submitted.
So we're also going to be adding this article onto our website. So if you go to prominencebusiness.com, you could click on our tab to download, and this article will be on there for you. And it has a lot more questions like, do small businesses need to do it, or, things like that. So,
and the answer to that is yes. Every entity out there, whether it's doing business or not, whether it's an LLC, a S Corp, a C Corp, it does not matter. If it's an entity, it needs to file it, okay? There's a lot of people out there that have entities that are not active. They'll be like, I haven't done business in them. So if you literally consider that a dormant entity, meaning it has not been used, I believe they state 2 years and there's no activity and it's technically dissolved, then they're giving you an out. Okay, that's one of the exceptions. This is why I tell you to go to that website, because there's a lot of frequently asked questions. And so don't panic, but again, let's get the facts straight to make sure that you do not get fined these $500 a day. Okay, but there are exceptions to the rules always. So let's make sure we find the one that applies to you, and that way you follow the rules. Okay. Now, I want to bring up that they want, again, ownership information, right? Name, social securities, driver's license, and your address. What happens if you move?
So if you have any changes within, the owners, you have 30 days to to file that. So as soon as you know that you're going to be changing that address, you have 30 days to let them know of your new address, your new information.
Now, we Californians have to report that to our statement of information form as well. How many times do we see people forget to make changes on those documents?
Yeah, I mean, that happens pretty often. And so it's kind of like one of those where you change your mail. Make sure you also do that for your business, because now you're getting letters, and, it could be letters that you need to respond to within a few days because of fines or whatever, and they get missed. So always when you have that entity, make sure that you change your mail for your business as well. And that's where the statement of information comes, and now this report as well.
This report is critical. So the fines are very steep. And if you forget to notify the proper agency of your change of address, they're coming after you with these outrageous fees. So again, it's one of those things that we have to, once you file it, great. But if there's a change of address, change of ownership, anything like that, we have to update the information with them. And that's going to require that you file I think is it an amendment, or is it called an update form?
I think it was just as an update.
Yeah, it's like an update form that you have to go on there and fill out and just give them the new changes that have occurred. So please, we urge you to get the information, seek the legal advice that you need, contact us with any questions that you may have, follow the links that we're providing you, take it seriously. These fines can add up pretty quickly, and it's something that if the information's already out there, we just have to update those forms. That's all, right? We just have to provide that information. So nothing to be really panicky about. We have a whole year if your entity already exists.
Mm-hmm.
If you bring up an entity in 2024, then you have 30 days to file it. And if you're one of our clients, we will try to help you with whatever we can to try to remind you and stay on top of it.
Yeah.
But again, the responsibility lies on you, and you're liable for those fees.
Yep.
Before we wrap up, anything else you want to add?
I think you should just always set your own reminders. Again, follow people that are doing this for you, like this business here, where you could subscribe, and I'm sure they'll send you reminders or changes to it. Just do that part, and it'll come to your email. I think that's going to be the best way to remind yourself.
Yeah, for sure. We get to see you guys with the corporations, and we do our best to try to help you. But even with us being of assistance, we see a lot of statement of informations being missed. Yep. Those forms are with California. So I know that there's going to be individuals that are going to miss this form, and we don't know how lenient they're going to be about getting those penalties waived. Yeah. So why put ourselves at that risk? Just let's get the form filed. Let's put the information that we need to put out there, and seek the legal advice that we need. Follow us on our social media at prominence.services or on our website at prominencebusiness.com. And with that, we will see you guys on the next one. Thank you for joining us. So if your mindset is ready to excel to the next level, and you want to give up the multiple hats to a business who will support you, then schedule a call with us today. We can be reached at 626-825-8249. Please give us a review and share us with your friends and family.